Hi, I want to thank you so very much for taking a moment to watch this video. Next year in 2020 is going to be a once in history kind of moment for Carlisle United Methodist Church. That's the year, hopefully around May, we're going to be able to move into a new building, and we're going to be in a new neighborhood surrounded by new people and all kinds of new ministries that we haven't even thought of yet that we'll be able to do to impact Carlisle for Jesus Christ. One of the other new things that I believe that CUMC needs to have is then a new lead pastor. A new lead pastor that has different skills, the skills that this congregation needs to carry this congregation for the next decade from this new thing that you're doing. I'm just not going to be that person. I'm announcing my retirement that will occur July 1st of 2020 because I think it's in the best interest of CUMC. In order for a new person to come, I have to step aside, and I willingly do that. We need a person with different gifts and graces that can really lead this congregation to where God wants it to be. I've been so privileged to be here. Unfortunately, the United Methodist system doesn't allow for me to step aside and take on a different role with the same congregation. I need to retire from full-time ministry, which I willingly do. It'll be a new land. It's about a year earlier than what I had planned to do, but it's just the right time for this congregation and for you as you move forward as a church. Now, I'm going to read part of the letter that I sent to our bishop requesting a change of status to retirement. I wrote, "This conclusion comes after many months of seeking God for my future. It was last winter that the occasional thought would enter my head that maybe my time at CUMC was coming to a close. I couldn't pinpoint if these questions were coming from a place of age or work-related fatigue or from somewhere else. I've always reasoned that if God called me into ministry, then God is the only one who can release me. In ministry, I learned long ago that serving God, Jesus, and the church isn't about me, what I want, or what I happen to be feeling at the time. It's always been about what God wants. And so if I'm to leave, it has to be what God wants and permits. It wasn't until I realized that it was God who was placing my wandering thoughts in my head that I began to ask God if this was to be my next step, the step out of the role of lead pastor of Carlisle United Methodist Church. The subsequent weeks, months have only served to confirm this for me, that God is leading me out of this role and into something new. I don't get the sense that God is done with me as much as I get the sense that God is preparing me for something else. This has some other benefits that are personal. My wife Amy will be retiring next week from her job, and we certainly do have some personal things that we would like to do. And as I said, this is about a year earlier than we had planned. But the time is just right for this congregation. You have excellent leadership here, and by next spring, we're going to have the best staff we've ever had. You have a leadership that embraces the mission of CUMC, calling people to live like Jesus, to move ahead and become a true community church impacting Carlisle and beyond for Jesus Christ. The time couldn't be better for this kind of transition as you follow a new leader to take you in what I pray is going to be a glorious future. Thank you so much for taking a minute to watch this video and to hear from my own heart about this. It was not an easy decision at all, to be sure. And I can do and be a lot of things, but I can't be 45 years old again with the passion and energy and the way I once was able to work. Those of you who are experienced know what I'm talking about. I just can't work at the same levels and pace that I used to, and this church deserves someone who can. Thanks so much. God bless your day. Hi, I forgot something really important that I need to tell you, and that is, well, what's next? Well, the reason I had to make this public statement so early is so that our district superintendent, Barry Robinson, can begin working with our leadership council on finding a new lead pastor for CUMC. We have a whole process in the United Methodist Church how to do that. It begins with this announcement and a few other things that I needed to do, but now the public process will begin. They've already been contacted. Barry has set up a meeting with them, and so let's be in prayer for the Leadership Council, for Barry Robinson, our district superintendent, for the bishop and the cabinet, that they might select the very person that God has in mind already for CUMC. Thanks for watching the small addendum today.